She has brought millions, I wouldn't be surprised if it's billions of eyes onto the W and onto women's sports. She is a Kobe Bryant. And that's how Diana was. That's how Sue was. Like, we've had these types of people, but this is just bigger because the media platform is bigger than it ever has been. I don't have an ego, so I'm able to just tell the truth. Like, if it was someone else, I'd be like, yeah, like Angel Reese, she's also brought millions of fans. You know what I mean? I think Caitlyn has brought way more, but I also think she has too. Like, I'm just not naive, and I might be blonde, but I'm not fucking dumb. People who say I'm clout chaser, no, I'm just being honest about why the league is where it is at. Give the girls the flowers, like give it.
The truth is finally being exposed by someone who has never hesitated to speak her mind. Sophie Cunningham has reached her breaking point after witnessing the WNBA continually disrespect the player who single-handedly revitalized the league, Caitlin Clark, and she is no longer staying silent. What makes her defense so impactful is not only the words she uses, but the fact that it's coming from her, someone who has been voicing this support long before it became a popular stance.
If it wasn't for Sophie Cunningham's podcast, I never would have had this eureka moment. Sophie Cunningham came to the Indiana Fever in the offseason. She's been taking full advantage of every opportunity she's got. An opportunity on the court, ballin'. An opportunity to protect Caitlin Clark, did that. Off the court, endorsement deals. Off the court, advertisers are falling in love with her. We got Colin Cowherd saying, hey, Sophie, you want your own podcast? Sophie Cunningham says, sure, I'll take my own podcast. And what has Sophie Cunningham been doing on this podcast? Letting us in on some secrets? Yeah, I love that. Pulling back the curtain on some time? Yeah, I love
This isn't some late arrival trying to ride the Caitlin Clark wave for attention or clicks. This is Sophie Cunningham, the player who was defending Clark when her own Phoenix Mercury teammates were turning against her in the locker room. The one who saw the Caitlin Clark effect before anyone else in the WNBA had the courage or awareness to acknowledge what was unfolding right in front of them.
Everybody hate Caitlin Clark. And do you hate Caitlin Clark?
No, dude. Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. While other WNBA players were ranking Caitlin Clark as only the 9th best point guard in the league, Sophie Cunningham was already praising her as a gem and openly expressing her wish to play alongside her. This wasn't after Clark had silenced all doubt. This wasn't after the ratings skyrocketed or the attendance numbers surged. This was back when Clark was still being targeted by veterans who couldn't handle the spotlight. She was shining on their struggling league in just her second year.
When you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? She's a great basketball player, so you might not think it's fair that she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
And I get other players, like they've worked hard and they've worked to build this league up over their time, and all of a sudden this young player comes in and now all the attention is...
And the numbers back up exactly what Sophie recognized before anyone else. When WNBA players cast their all-star votes and ranked Caitlin Clark 9th among guards, even as she led all players with more than 1.2 million fan votes, it exposed everything wrong with the league's mindset. Dick Vitale called it pure jealousy, and he was absolutely right. But Sophie Cunningham had been calling out that same jealousy long before it became undeniable to the rest of the world.
Time and time again, Sophie Cunningham has repeatedly been calling out the officiating. And what's one thing the WNBA holds over these players' heads? Oh, I'm gonna fine you. Oh, if you call out the officiating, I'm gonna fine you. The players say, no, I can't afford that. So they They keep it all hush-hush. But Sophie Cunningham, she's sitting on a pile of money. So when Kathy Engelbert hears her say something about the referees, Kathy says, here's a fine. And Sophie says, okay.
What separates Sophie from the rest of the league is her understanding of the bigger picture. She knows business, and she knows that when Caitlin Clark's games draw 2.7 million viewers, making it the most watched WNBA game in 25 years, you don't tear that down. You protect it. You build around it. You recognize that this is no longer just about basketball, but about the survival and growth of women's professional sports.
Saw it coming. They went and got Sophie Cunningham, 6-year-old black belt. This is what the Bulls did with Charles Oakley to protect Michael Jordan. And I said this last year several times. The WNBA is not a vertical league. Their players can't jump over each other to score like the NBA. It's a horizontal chippy league. And you didn't watch the NBA for the last 10 to 12 years. It has always been physical and always been chippy. You get into a lot of collisions because there's no Ja Morant here. There's no Ant Edwards. They don't jump over. It's a horizontal physical league. And Caitlin Clark now is like kerosene to the physicality flame. So you have physicality in this league, and now you get this flashy player, and they don't know how to officiate her. They don't.
When Sophie Cunningham joined the Indiana Fever in 2025, she made her stance crystal clear. She has changed our game in the best possible way in every way. I want her to go do her thing, and anything she needs from me, I'm going to be here, Cunningham told reporters. This wasn't empty media talk. It was genuine recognition from someone who had seen firsthand what happens when a league is gifted a generational talent. The most damning revelation came when Sophie exposed what was really happening behind closed doors during Clark's rookie season. Even when I wasn't on her team, I know the talks Phoenix had in their locker room of like, we're going to show her what the W really is, Cunningham revealed on her podcast. This wasn't just competitive intensity. It was coordinated targeting of a player whose only crime was being too good, too fast, and bringing too much attention to a league that couldn't handle success.
You know, she has changed our game in the best possible way in every way. And so just to be alongside of her and maybe relieve the pressure, being able to shoot and spread the court for her to go do her thing. She's still young, and I think that I've been taken under, Diana took me under her wing, and I've learned a lot from her. And now I hope to kind of do the same for Caitlin if she wants it. I just think that the relationship piece is huge. And when you're trying to do something great, it takes everybody. And so I want her to go do her thing, and anything she needs from me, I'm going to be here. But again, I think that like just the competitor that I am, I'm fierce, I'm sassy, I stick up for my teammates.
But this is where Sophie's integrity truly stands out. She could have stayed silent, gone along with the crowd, and let the jealousy disguise itself as standard rookie treatment. Instead, she chose to speak the truth, even when it meant making her former teammates and colleagues uncomfortable. Every rookie coming into the league will get some of it, Cunningham admitted. But there's just more for her. It's her second year now. Being on her team and seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? It's just too much.
It's like, I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're going to prove her, we're going to show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like, I get it to a certain extent. And like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're going to treat them. But
Right.
There's just more for her. So it's her second year. And like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like actually it's just too much. And like, it's just, I'm over. And if I'm saying it's too much, then it's probably too much.
No, that's so fair.
Like,
Good
that's fair.
When someone with Sophie's experience and perspective says it's too much, you know the situation has crossed the line from competitive intensity into something far darker. The disrespect Sophie has been witnessing goes well beyond hard fouls and cheap shots. It's systemic, it's cultural, and it's sabotaging the league's greatest chance for growth. When Caitlin Clark was poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon and then shoved to the ground by Marina Mabry, the referees somehow hit Clark with a technical foul while her attackers received minimal punishment. That was Sophie's breaking point. With 46 seconds left, Sheldon stole the ball and went in for what looked like an easy layup, but Sophie grabbed her and dragged her to the floor, sparking an altercation that would change everything. Within 24 hours, Sophie's social media following skyrocketed from hundreds of thousands to over 1.2 million across platforms. This wasn't about viral fame. It was vindication for those who had watched Clark get abused while the league ignored it. I didn't do that for clickbait, Cunningham explained. I stand up for my teammates. But the fan reaction revealed something deeper. People weren't just celebrating Sophie's defense of Clark. They were celebrating that someone finally had the courage to do what the league should have been doing all along, protecting its most valuable.
It just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because, like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So, like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally making money from the viewership.
And what she made the chirp was about how she didn't help plan the fucking.
Who cares?
shirts.
Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I just hate when, like, people do stuff to get, it's like clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and there's so much clickbait, especially surrounding Caitlyn. And so, like, it's just like, just be nice. Like, why can't people just be nice?
Yeah.
That's what I don't, coming from the girl who.
I was just saying, we just for 2 hours in the house to fucking beat someone up.
Just be nice. It's not.
The business impact of Sophie's stance cannot be overstated. Caitlin Clark has generated more interest, ticket sales, and revenue for women's basketball than any player in history, transforming television ratings with Fever games averaging 1.178 million viewers compared to just 394,000 for other WNBA matchups. When teams can't sell tickets without her, and entire cities move games to larger venues just to handle the crowd she draws, the smart move is obvious. You protect that investment. Yet the WNBA has consistently taken the opposite approach. Instead of celebrating their golden goose, they've allowed her to be targeted. Instead of building the brand around their biggest star, they've fostered a culture of resentment that risks destroying the very phenomenon capable of elevating the entire league. On her podcast, Sophie revealed the depth of her frustration. It literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league. What? There are really good, well-known players in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We've got a lot of badasses, hell yeah. But when people argue that she's not the face of our league, or that we'd be here without her, you're dumb. This wasn't trash talk, it was reality. The numbers are undeniable, the impact measurable, and the transformation visible to anyone not blinded by jealousy or ego. Sophie sees what much of the league still refuses to admit. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the player who changed everything.
Caitlyn has, that's where players would be wise to kind of uplift Caitlyn even more, or try and catapult her, because it only does wonders for the league. Like, they are able to wear "pay me what you owe me" shirts because they're getting a new TV rights deal because of Caitlin Clark. So like, there's so many sides to this, but like, at the end of the day, it's what's best for the league, and it's what's best for these players individually. If Caitlin Clark kind of
The stark contrast between Sophie's approach and the league's priorities exposes everything broken within the WNBA. While league leadership obsesses over optics and clings to the status quo, Sophie has made it her mission to protect and promote the one asset capable of transforming women's professional sports forever. While other players engage in petty targeting and coordinated harassment, Sophie has stood tall as a defender and advocate for excellence. Even her former Phoenix Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts praised her mindset, saying, "I think when you come in this league as a second-round pick, you've got to have some toughness and grit to you." She's embraced that role, and it's worked for them. And so, I give Sophie credit because she competes at a high level. But Sophie's true value isn't just her toughness. It's her vision for what the league could achieve if it stopped sabotaging itself. The financial opportunities that poured in after her defense of Clark tell the story better than words. Within days, her agency secured new deals, including partnerships with Ring and other major brands. She launched a hit podcast and openly admitted that these opportunities will surpass her $100,000 WNBA salary. The message is undeniable. The market is rewarding integrity and courage, while the league continues to reward mediocrity and jealousy.
A couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA history. I'm not for the violence, you know what I'm saying? But I am for you saying, if y'all want to get busy out here, we can get busy out here. And I know we got some clips of Sophie outside of basketball going to the game. So I want you to put the whole picture together, right? Good at basketball. She's fighting back for Caitlin Clark. And then, you know, But
Sophie's message reaches far beyond personal success or team loyalty. She's exposing a systemic failure that threatens the very future of women's professional basketball. "This is what we've always wanted as a league," she said. So, who cares who gets the credit? That mindset should be the standard across the WNBA. Celebrate success no matter where it comes from. Build on momentum instead of tearing it down, and protect stars rather than enabling their abuse. The tragic reality is that Sophie had to leave Phoenix just to find teammates and an organization willing to embrace this vision. Her revelation about Mercury locker room conversations revealed how toxic the culture had become. Instead of celebrating the arrival of a generational talent, players were plotting to show her what the W really is. And they did. Clark saw firsthand a league so consumed by jealousy that it would rather sabotage its own salvation story than admit it needed her. Sophie's emergence as Clark's defender may have bought the WNBA time, but it also underscored how broken the system truly is. When fans celebrate an enforcer more than they celebrate the league itself, when jerseys sell out because of fights instead of basketball brilliance, when players gain millions of followers for defending teammates rather than for athletic achievement, it's clear the league has lost its way entirely.
They went and got Sophie Cunningham, 6-year-old black belt. This is what the Bulls did with Charles Oakley to protect Michael Jordan. And I said this last year several times. The WNBA is not a vertical league. Their players can't jump over each other to score like the NBA. It's a horizontal chippy league. And you didn't watch the NBA for the last 10 to 12 years. It has always been physical and always been chippy. You get into a lot of collisions because there's no Ja Morant here. There's no Ant Edwards. They don't jump over. It's a horizontal physical league. And Caitlin Clark now is like kerosene to the physicality flame. So you have physicality in this league, and now you get this flashy player, and they don't know.
The most revealing part of Sophie's stance is how sharply it contrasts with the league's own response. While the WNBA has repeatedly failed to confront the systematic targeting of its biggest star, Sophie has stepped into the role of protector and advocate, a role that should have belonged to the commissioner and referees all along. She's doing the job leadership has neglected, making sure talent is safeguarded and excellence is celebrated instead of punished. By comparing Caitlin Clark to legends like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, Sophie shows the level of respect and recognition that should be universal across the league. The way that Caitlin thinks of the game, that's a really close second, Sophie said of Clark's basketball IQ compared to Taurasi's. They're always 10 plays ahead of everyone. They're always on a whole different wavelength. That kind of appreciation and analysis should be echoing from every corner of the WNBA, not just from one brave teammate willing to speak the truth. Sophie Cunningham's defense of Caitlin Clark isn't just about protecting one player. It's about defending the future of women's professional basketball. She understands what WNBA leadership has yet to grasp. Clark isn't a threat to the league's order. She's the key to its transformation and growth.
Thinks of the games, that's a really close second. And so they're always 10 plays ahead of everyone. They're always on a whole different wavelength. And I'm just happy that I got my time with DT. I love her to death. I'm so excited to watch her docuseries. I think she deserves the world and more. I know she's enjoying retirement, probably going crazy because she's also psycho. And I've said that multiple times. But it's been fun to be a sponge and then kind of talking with Caitlin, just kind of seeing that she's at the beginning of her professional career, but there's a lot of similarities.
Facing the WNBA is straightforward. They can take Sophie Cunningham's advice, protect their most valuable asset, and build a sustainable future around the phenomenon capable of elevating the entire sport. Or they can continue down their current path, enabling jealousy, tolerating targeting, and squandering the greatest opportunity in the league's history. Sophie has already made her choice. She stands with excellence, defends talent, and fights for a vision of what women's professional basketball can become. The question now is whether the WNBA will finally heed this voice of reason or continue its march toward irrelevance. Time is running out, and Sophie Cunningham is done being patient with a league that refuses to acknowledge its own good fortune.